everybody, welcome back to my channel or welcome to my channel. This is Aksi and I'll be taking you to a journey through our minds. Yes, our minds and society. So today is the 3rd of December and it is considered as the Persons of Disabled Awareness Day, where we celebrate different disabilities and consider them as equal and do not differentiate them from the normal. Because the world has segregated so much into different categories that it's time we understand that there is no normal. Every human being is equal to the other. WHO reports that 15% of our population is disabled in a way or other. So today let's discuss the two categories if we consider by health, which are the physically disabled and the mentally disabled people. Now let's first consider the physically disabled people. The physically disabled people are the ones that you can see out there. Because of the appearance, yes, some of them do not appear to be disabled. For example, let's say deaf people, because they don't have any visible disability. It's not until you talk to them that you understand that they cannot hear you. So there are many disabilities that can be seen and cause discrimination. Of course, if somebody knows that the other person is deaf or mute or such disabilities that are not appearance-wise visible, they get highly discriminated. An anime movie that I watched a couple of years ago, I guess, was A Silent Voice, in which the main character was mute and she was deaf. Of course, she was deaf, but of course she couldn't speak because of that thing. She couldn't make up sentences. So in school life, she was discriminated against, and she was hated on and bullied. So that was where I understood exactly how those people felt, because I never had an experience, where I saw anybody who was deaf or mute, so I couldn't understand them exactly. Maybe, I of course we know that it might not be the most pleasant feeling, but I didn't have an experience where I could see what they're going through. So watching that, I understood how bad it is for them, how horribly mean people are, because we have this whole concept of what is normal and what is not. To be honest, if the statistics show that 15% of the population is disabled, but for me, I would consider that most of us are in some way or the other disabled, because nobody is perfect. We all hear that nobody is perfect. That's right, nobody is perfect. We all have our flaws, and there might be some disability in us that's not visible to others, that we try to hide, that we pretend not to show others. Now, so many of the people, now I'm not even kidding, heard racism and sexism, but they didn't hear ableism. And a lot of my friends, when I told them about ableism, they were like, is that a term? And I was like, yeah. And I'm surprised that many people don't know about this term, but it is used for noting how these people are discriminated against. And they're discriminated against in education, jobs, and of course public places. That's a lot, mocking and stuff, staring at them. So I know recently I came across a person who's very, very talented, and he has a problem with his legs and he can't walk. So he told me how his experience was horrible during school years. He wasn't allowed in many schools because they were like, we can't afford a kid who cannot walk. We cannot, assure you he will not be bullied. So all of those things, we're not going to keep him at our school. Which is so sad how, they are taken out of the education circle just because of one small thing, that he cannot walk. That's sad. That's really sad. He had been bullied a lot of times. So when he finally got to school, he said, okay, finally there was some support at some schools. So some schools do have brain cells to actually notice that no matter what a person is going through, they're still human. So I wish more schools were like that and there wasn't a discrimination against such people. And similarly goes for jobs. Many people consider that just because they are people who do not have a specific function like the others, they would be less at something. It's not right. There's so many jobs where we don't need those specific things, and these people, where, for me, one thing I realized is that when a person we consider doesn't have this thing, he has something extra than the others. We never know. There's always a specific talent of some person. There's always a specific thing that is there which you don't know about. Now this of course leads them to mentally being exhausted, feeling left out. Bullying itself has a lot of bad effect. So yeah, I just can't imagine what they go through mentally, the struggle of being judged. You can have everything in the world and yet you get judged. And just being called abnormal, just being sidelined, that I'm pretty sure is going to be worse than, anything else. Considering the mental disabilities. Now, I did not actually know about that mentally disabled, like mental disorders do come in mental disability. Like it was new for me, as dumb as it sounds, but yeah, it was new for me. So like OCD to bipolar, these all are considered as disabilities too. And well, that's true. And if we take these as disabilities, I'm pretty sure half the world's population is disabled, because almost so many of these are now so common, and so many of the people have these disabilities, whether they're visible or not. Of course, we need to get rid of the stigma, whether it's physical disability or mental disability, so that everybody can be comfortable to talk about it. Now, there's some ableist language that people use, and I wish they stopped using. You do not look cool, believe me. So saying jokingly, I first knew that even me, I used that, okay? So to me too, but now I don't anymore, because it's not a joke. It's like you can sometimes joke like, oh my god, I think I'm bipolar. Like, it's not a joke, believe me. You don't want to be bipolar, because the people who have bipolar really suffer a lot. And when it comes to stuff like OCD, my sister has symptoms of OCD, real bad symptoms, okay? She loves everything. A person should be clean, a lot clean, but sometimes takes it a step ahead. So the thing is that a lot of people laugh, oh my god, you have OCD. Okay, so even sometimes at home when we're laughing, she's cleaning something crazily, and we're like, okay, OCD activated. This is not good, because it's considered as ableist language. Not a good thing, believe me. And apart from that, the people who call others names for being physically disabled, okay, that is very horrible. That I don't think that was ever acceptable, and people just did that for bullying reasons. But for the ones that are terms for mental disorders, yeah, those are still used, and I wish they weren't. Okay, so I hope I did justice to the topic of ableism, even though I'm trying my best. I'm still new to this, and I hope by time I get better and better. So, to the people who have disabilities, I wouldn't even consider calling you people with disabilities. You're people who have a lot of determination. If you're talking about physically, you guys are I would say superior in a sense, because it's very hard to be physically, in appearance wise, something that others are not, and you're trying to fit in, but it's so hard to fit in. So you're really amazing for trying so hard and never giving up. That's amazing. I don't think a lot of people who don't have that kind of problem would understand, but believe me, because it's hard to even imagine not having a leg, not having something that's functioning right. So bravo for not giving up. And for the ones mentally having disabilities, to be honest, I would consider myself one, because of the overthinking and the overwhelmed feelings that we have. Most of us aren't even diagnosed of something that would be considered as disability, and we don't know if we have it or not. So everyone is struggling in a way or other, and each and every one of us has a disability that we don't know about. If you guys would like to share some of your experiences where you were different physically or mentally and it led to something different, I would like to hear you guys. You can DM me on my Instagram, and I would share your story on my Instagram stories. That would be nice, so that other people can be inspired. You can tell me you don't want your name there. I can do it without name. If you want me to show your name, you can still tell me. I will be doing that too. And it would be nice because, we want to create an environment, a society where everybody feels safe and they feel it's normal. It's okay to be different, because none of us is perfect and we are all different. So here's a clap for everybody struggling out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.